they say that a single image says more than 1,000 words. So on that count, that's probably like a speech of like a few months that you have behind you here. But maybe just a little overview of what we thought when we came here and how we structured this exhibition. So the exhibition is called Formgivning, a future history from the Big Bang to the singularity. And it's called Formgivning because that's the Danish word for design. And it literally means to give form to that which has not yet been given form. Essentially to give form to the future. And really specifically to give form to the world you would like to find yourself living in the future. And I think that's a powerful concept, because when you think about design or architecture, you think that's someone else's profession if you're not an architect or designer, or it's about style or aesthetics or fashion. But when you think about form giving and you understand it's really about what kind of world you want to live in, it completely changes the game. And then, because this building is designed by my old teacher, Rem Koolhaas, and it's not really a classic art museum because it doesn't have any white walls. It actually has only like perforated metals, concrete, and mostly glass. When you look into a gym, something that looks like a highway, the port with like yellow water taxis running by, Danish Architecture Center, the blocks hub. So it's pretty hard to exhibit here, or at least it's demanding, because by intention it's really about urban immersion and the coming together of a lot of different things like in a city. So when we started here, and sometimes it's a good way to start with a kind of critical attitude, and some of the earlier exhibitions that were here, they started putting up a lot of walls. And we thought, as a dogma, we would not touch the architecture, so there are no walls. We would work with the existing conditions, so all of the spaces are created purely with content. So the images and the drawings are hanging from the ceiling. We have the same tables as we have at home or at the office, although they have slightly less funky colors in the office. We have sort of created zones by using color, by sort of creating spaces. For instance, like this area is the gift of bonding between people, so it's almost like an arena. Also, the architecture is kind of challenging in that you arrive below ground and then you have to climb 97 steps to get to this gallery. So we thought we'd turn that stair climb into a time travel. It's a logarithmic timeline, basically starting 13.8 billion years ago with the Big Bang, and then each step takes you closer to present day. And this is not just because we wanted to entertain you while climbing the stairs. It's actually because if you want to dare imagine a future different from today, all you have to do is look back 1 year, 10 years, 100 years, and realize how different was then from today. And in realizing that, you realize how different can we actually imagine tomorrow from today. So I think as you go through that journey and you look at those different incidents we've pointed out on the stair, you really get that sense that we actually have the power to imagine tomorrow completely different. On the first landing, there's the Golden Gallery, which we have devoted to play. And it is populated by 25 models built by master Lego builders from around the world. And these are people that on their own energy and own initiative have somehow found an interest in some of the buildings we've done and then created them out of Lego. And a lot of them are here today, and I imagine that a lot of them are going to be hanging around their creations. And if you have any interest in Lego, you can learn a few tricks from these people. In the middle of that room, there is a pool of Lego for your own experimentation. And the reason we devoted the whole gallery to Lego is because in our minds, Lego is not a tool, it's not a toy, it's a tool. It's a tool that empowers the child to create his or her own world, and then to inhabit that world through play, and to invite her friends to join her in cohabiting and co-creating that world. So take some time to do exactly that, because I think that is the perfect mindset with which you can then enter the main exhibition that we have organized according to 10 gifts. Each gift is designated by a color. It's called a verb. In this one, it's bond. And actually, the gifts are also literally gifts. You can take these essays with you and read them at home when you have more concentration and fewer drinks than you may have here. But essentially, the idea of the gift is that as architects, we don't have political power because we don't write the rules. We don't have economic power because we don't write the checks. The one thing we do have is the power of giving a gift when we give form. So the idea of the gift is that as architects, we get invited once the decision to build has been made, once the program has been determined, once they found a site, and then we asked to draw up a design. So the gift is the idea of giving the world something that it didn't know it wanted, but now that we have offered it, it wouldn't want to be without it. And I think maybe the clearest example of a gift is the waste-to-energy power plant that's going to be Copenhagen, which is essentially a waste-to-energy power plant that is so clean that we have been able to turn its roof into an alpine ski slope and its wall into the tallest climbing wall in the world. And I think it's also a great example of the world-changing power of form giving, which is my son Darwin is here somewhere, a handsome gentleman in a red suit, and he's 6 months old. He won't remember a thing from tonight, and maybe some of you won't either. But he is gonna grow up almost not knowing that there was a time when you could not ski on the roof of the power plant in Copenhagen, when its facade wasn't the tallest climbing wall in the world. So imagine for him and his entire generation, that's gonna be their normal. And that is from where they will come up with wild ideas for their future. So in that sense, every time we give a gift as form givers, we have a chance to turn fantasy into reality and to sort of elevate the point of departure for future generations. And then lastly, all these gifts, and there's 10 of them, they flow together, as you can see on the floor, and they form a rainbow that takes you down to the future, where we have taken 4 scenarios of things that are on our drawing board right now. The future of thinking, of sensing, of making, and of moving. And the future of moving is interplanetary migration involving humans having cities on Mars, which is something we are in fact involved in at the moment. So before I propose a toast, and I made like, you know, they say success has many fathers. In this case, this exhibition has grandparents and uncles and aunts and nephews and nieces and brothers and sisters. It's like so many people have contributed to this exhibition. All the foundations, all our sort of collaborators that have also chipped in as sponsors, all my colleagues that have contributed to each of the projects that are here, the entire team of the Danish Architecture Center, and the entire form-giving team. I do want to actually thank Gabriel Nadeau, who may be here, who is the one Victor who has on her CV that she did Yes is More, the exhibition 10 years ago, and then she didn't learn from that experience, so she came back and did this one. And her and her team of around 50 Bigsters have done like an insane job, and I am deeply indebted. Before I hand it over to Kent, I also want to say that today is actually 20 years since I graduated from the Architecture School of Copenhagen, June 1999, 20 years ago. And we did at least spend a lot of inkjet color in the last 20 years, as you can see. But also, shortly after, Kent became the director of the Danish Architecture Center. And even if we at BIG would love to imagine that we have played a role in the kind of renaissance that Danish architecture has experienced over the last 2 decades, I know that Kent has also played a very significant role. I can't find him. There he is. And I just want to say, like, thank you for the support and the faith you've had in our work, and thank you for the sort of energy and the protagonism you put forward for Danish architecture in Denmark and in the world. Well, thank you very much. And before we end, you should never end a speech without a toast. Cheers for giving form to the future. Let's go!